Hey guys, Bradley Overrated coming at you with an Overrated review, and today we are going over Kirby Star Allies, a game that's received some interesting criticism and a little bit of mixed reviews, but I have to say that after playing this game, I absolutely loved it. I had a blast playing this game, especially if you're looking for a nice casual game to play with friends. This game is a great answer for it. And before I go into why I loved it, there is one thing I need to address, and that's all the criticism that this game has received by a lot of critics and a lot of fans of the series, and I just want to quickly discuss that. Now, Kirby Star Allies has kind of been known right now to be too easy. It was one of the biggest criticisms of this game. A lot of people said it's just so easy to beat the bosses and the stages. There's not really that big of a challenge when you play the game. To which, they're not wrong. The game is extremely easy, but at the same time, name a Kirby game that was really hard. Kirby Robobot wasn't. Kirby Triple Deluxe, I think, was easier than this one. I never died in Kirby Triple Deluxe. Not once. I actually died 2 or 3 times, at least in this game, usually by me being stupid, but I still died. Kirby's Epic Yarn, you can't even die in that game. Like, literally, you can't die. You can fall off any ledge you want, you can get hit 1,000 times, and you're still going to just brush it off and be okay. So, when you say this game's too easy and the other games, they're not, and that doesn't get that criticism, it doesn't make sense to me, because this game, while it's being pretty easy, every Kirby game's easy. So, if you're playing a Kirby game, you have to go into it with the mindset of it's not meant to be Cuphead, it's not meant to be Mega Man, it's not meant to be Battletoads, it's not meant to be The End Is Nigh, it's not meant to be Super Meat Boy, it's not meant to be a really hard platformer. If you want to play a really challenging platformer from Nintendo, you should probably go to Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze that just came out, because that one will challenge you, that one will give you that experience if that's what you're looking for. And at the same time, though, I do have to say that there are certain instances where I do wish I had more of a challenge. It's not so much in the levels themselves. The levels are absolutely fantastic. They have a lot of content and a lot of, as you can see, the backgrounds here on this level in particular are just gorgeous. Very fun, very engaging levels with a lot of variety of what you can do in the game. The superpowers that Kirby can get by inhaling is absolutely fantastic, although I will say they are sometimes a little bit generic, and the levels themselves are a little bit generic as well. You get your standard ice world and your fire worlds and water worlds, but they're done really well all the same. It's the standard Nintendo grassy world. You know what you're getting into when you go into Nintendo levels. They're very much the same. That doesn't mean they're not fun though. They are definitely a blast to play. But as far as things getting too easy for me, I think that falls more on the boss fights. A lot of the boss fights, you can kind of just run up to the enemy and hit them for a little bit, but at the same time, the boss fights also do a good job of giving you a lot of range. There's different things you have to do to beat particular bosses, there's different scenarios that you have to essentially solve. That's not the worst thing in the world. I do, on some instances, wish the boss fights were a little bit more challenging, but it's few and far between, because most of them are just really fun to beat the living hell out of the bosses, alright? I had a blast OPing over them. And maybe that comes from a guy that's just played Cuphead, and Super Meat Boy, and The End Is Nigh, and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and I needed a break, and Kirby makes me feel better about myself after dying X amount of times on those other games. I should also mention that the final boss fight in this game is absolutely fantastic. I loved it to pieces. It's the most challenging boss fight and the most unique boss fight, and that's kind of how a final boss should be. You want it to be an experience, one that you won't forget, and I'm not going to forget this one for quite some time because of how well done it was. It makes me very happy to see them continually, time after time. The final bosses on every Kirby game are usually spectacular, and this one is no different. Now, the other criticism that this game is received by a lot of people is that it's too short, and to which I say yes. The campaign itself, I mean, if you don't do the extra stages and care about going back and finding collectibles, or anything like that, I mean, you could beat it in 3 hours. It's pretty freaking short. And that's sad and a little bit disappointing, because I was enjoying it so much I didn't want it to be over. Having said that, you can supplement it. There's another mode called Kirby Star Allies Go that you can do afterwards. I highly recommend you do it. There's nice little mini games that you can play. You can have this thing with, you can increase the boss difficulty levels with people. There's a lot of extra modes is what I'm trying to get across here that are really fun and really engaging. This game, however, does in fact need to be multiplayer. I enjoyed playing it single player by myself, but a lot of people, I think, aren't going to get as much entertainment out of it as I did. But this game, when you look at the advertisements and everything you could do on it, it was never advertised as a great single player experience. It was advertised as a fantastic multiplayer experience, and in this particular case, this game is a fantastic multiplayer game. For couch co-op, look no further than Kirby Star Allies. Even though the campaign mode isn't the hardest thing in the world, you're going to have an absolute blast playing this game with your friends. I've tried it out. It is terrific. And you can tell this game is meant to be played with several people just by the sheer fact that you can play the campaign with 4 people. Kirby Star Allies Go is 4 people. All the extra modes on here is for 4 people. It's a multiplayer game, so if you're playing by yourself, you're gonna miss out on some of the awesome action and the fun that you could be having with others. So I do recommend playing this game with at least another person, because I feel you'll get the most bang for your buck. Now, I also want to talk about some other highlights of this game. For starters, the soundtrack is excellent. Every Kirby game just seems to get the soundtrack. Like, the best thing you can ever say, like, what's the best thing about Kirby games? You could say the soundtrack, and it would be true. I mean, all of them have great soundtracks, and this one is no different. I wish Nintendo would publish these soundtracks to make them available, because I would eat them up. It's an excellent listen. Also, the collectibles are worthwhile. You get illustration pieces that you can acquire to get nice little cute pictures, but you can find switches in the campaign that unlock extra levels. Some are a little bit more challenging, the more unique and diverse, give you a little bit of variety to the campaign itself. And here's the best thing about Kirby is every single mode you play unlocks something. Kirby Star Allies Go will unlock some extra features for you. When you finish the campaign, you can get theater mode, for example, where you can go back and watch all the clips. So play all of the modes, because you will get extra things that you can do in the game, and it helps give this game a lot more playtime. I would say while the campaign is 3 to 5 hours average for people, playing all of the other modes and stuff, I'm putting about 10 to 15 into the game now, and it makes it a lot more pleasurable and a lot more justifiable for a $60 purchase, because a 3 to 5 hour campaign obviously is not worth $60 at all. So let's give a little recap about the positives and the negatives of Kirby Star Allies. The positives, the gameplay is a standard Kirby, it's really fun and engaging. Multiplayer is absolutely awesome in this game. Play it with friends because you will love it. I do enjoy the collectibles. They're not the best collectibles I've ever played from a Kirby series, but they are still fun. The graphics look excellent in docked or handheld mode. The soundtrack is fantastic. It has a great final boss fight. And the other modes, while they're fun, they can't last that long, because like the chopping trees, you'll play for like half an hour and you'll basically be done with it. It is fun, but that's about as far as you can go with it. As you can see here, when I was doing recording, I show you all the things. The Ultimate Choice! Yes, that's what it was called. Chop Champs is fun though. Star Slam Heroes is fun. Guest Star Allies Go, that's really fun. The Ultimate Choice is pretty fun. All the modes, while they don't necessarily last long and won't give you the most play value, they are still ultimately fun. And when I review a game, when I give it a score, the thing I look for that is the most important factor is just, is the game fun, and how fun is it? Because to me, that's the most important thing when you're playing a video game. Alright guys, let's give Kirby Star Allies a score now. And I rate scores a little bit differently. I go from A to F, A being the best thing you'll ever play, F being its complete and total failure, and Kirby Star Allies gets a B+. That's right, I've given it a really good score. It deserves the B+ because it's just that good. There's so much charm and life in this game, and it's cute. the soundtrack's good, when the graphics look good, and I'm enjoying the gameplay, the multiplayer is awesome, and it does give a nice variety of content and mixes things up. The harshest criticism I can give it is that it just didn't give me enough. I wanted a longer campaign, and I wanted the modes to be a little bit more fulfilling, but aside from that, that's really the only issue I had with this game. Alright guys, that's it for me. I'm Bradley Overrated. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this review, and have a nice day.